Welcome back to another video lecture of BFE, that is Business and Financial Environment, and topic of Master of Commerce, Finance and Control. You are watching our YouTube channel UN College Digital Class and virtual platform of Udayanath Autonomous College of Science and Technology. So, in this business and financial environment, we had talked about what a business is, what are the characteristics of business, how these businesses are existing and operating, and what are the requirement to exist in the changing scenario of business. We had also discussed about the business environment, and we had defined what business environment is and what is the nature of the business environment, characteristics of the business environment, and how significant that business environment is for the business or the managers to look into, that what is going around all in the business. So, this is what business and business environment is. In today's topic, we are going to discuss on the types of business environment and go in detail understanding the business environment of the business. So, without much delay, let us start the topic of today's discussion, that is types of business environment. So, if you will see, this business environment refers to any kind of internal or external forces which have an effect on the functioning of the business in a positive or negative way. The environment may affect the business to the extent that there may be a need to modify or revamp the entire business. The environment poses threats, challenges as well as gives opportunities and chance to grow to the business. So, there are different types of business environment. So, if we will see here what is there in business environment, as we have already discussed in our previous class, that business environment encompasses within it, take within it many forces and factors, internal as well as external, that are going to affect the business from all the dimensions. And these forces and factors are going to affect the business either positively or negatively. That means either there are threats or opportunities which are there in this approaching business environment. So, this business environment is very important and significant to exist and sustain and keep growing in our business. So, this business environment are of different types as the nature of the components or the factors. This business environment is been categorized broadly into internal environment and external environment. So, primarily the type of business environment are classified under two categories, as we have said, that are the internal business environment and the external business environment. In this external business environment, further they are divided into two types, that are namely the micro environment and the macro environment. So, if we will see, this is what a business environment is, in which we have the internal environment factors, external environment factors, and in external environment we have micro environment and the macro environment. So, if we will see in detail and go in deep knowing the business environment, this business environment is primarily categorized into two distinct categories, that are the internal environment and the external environment. And further, this external environment is been divided into two categories, that are micro environment and the macro environment. This division or categorization or classification of the types of business environment is based on the factors that are either within our control, that is on the control of the business, or out of the control or uncontrollable by the business. So, if we will see, the internal factors or the internal affairs of the business are within the control of the business, or business can do something of these internal factors. That is why they are also called as controllable factors of business or controllable components of the business. If we will talk of the external environment, this external environment is those factors or components, those are out of the control or uncontrollable by the business. These external factors, those which are uncontrollable, they are further either completely uncontrollable or controlled up to some extent. So, on the basis of that, again we are distinguishing or categorizing the external environment into the micro environment and the macro environment. Let us look into detail that what are there in this internal and external environment. Let us look on the internal environment. Let us have a look on the internal environment first. So, let us discuss about the internal business environment. This internal environment refers to the factors existing within a business firm. That means those factors that are within the business, within the periphery of the business, or we can say the within the reach of the business, that are the internal environment. And these internal factors are considered to be controllable because the enterprise has control over these factors. This internal environment consists of the factors which are controllable and which can be changed according to the requirement of the external environment. So, this internal environment consists of those factors which are controllable and which can be changed, or which can, according to the requirement, we can have the changes in that or modification in that, or we can do something with those factors. They are what the internal environments are. Now, there are various internal factors which are influencing these business decisions, or there are, we can say, there are various elements of the business internal environment are. So, the internal factors of the business environment are broadly the organizational goals and policies, organizational resources, organizational structure, organizational culture. So, these are the various internal factors which are the part of the internal environment of business, and these factors are going to influence the business decisions to a very large extent. Let us have a discussion on these elements of internal environment detail. So, the elements of internal environment, if we will see, there are, the first is the organizational goals and policies. So, the goals are the long term desired outcomes of an organization. They are the end results, we can say, and all the organizational activities are directed towards the achievement of these goals. So, profit growth, market growth and social responsibility can be said as some of these goals of a business, and these policies are broad guidelines for organizational activities. So, they bring coordination among the organizational units or departments. So, this is what the organizational goals and policies are. So, if we see the elements or the components of the business internal environment, the first thing is organizational goal and the policies. So, if we see, the goal means what? The desired result or the end result to which the business wants to reach to, or we can say the goal to which all the activities of the businesses are targeted to, or all the activities or the programs or all the tasks are being done to reach at that end result. So, that is what the goal of the organization is. So, when we have a goal to achieve or we are setting a goal, that is completely an internal affair, and if the external environment is not coping up with that goal, or there are some major adversities or difficulties that we are facing for that goal, we can have changes or modify the goals that are there or the goals that we have set. And apart from goals, there are policies that are being framed by the organization. So, these various policies according to the need and requirement of the business can also be changed. But these goals and policies are very much important, and these are the very crucial internal decisions of the business. So, as these are going to affect the business and they are within the reach of the business or included within the business, we are considering this in the internal environment. Next, we have organizational resources. So, these resources are the foundation for strategy. So, they are inputs into a firm's production process such as capital, equipment, employee skills, patents and finance. So, they unique bundles of resources generate competitive advantages. So, these resources may be tangible and intangible. So, if we are involved in a business and we are talking of a business environment, what is the most important thing within a business or within an organization is the resources that the organization is containing. So, these organizational resources are the factors of the internal environment of the business, and these resources could be of two types, that are either they are tangible resources or they are intangible resources. So, when we are talking of tangible resources, they are the resources which we can touch, feel and see. So, they are what the tangible resources are, and intangible resources are which we cannot feel, touch or see, but they are also very important resources of the business. So, what these resources are? Tangible resources, if we talk of, they can be seen or touched, and these tangible resources include the financial resources, organizational resources and physical resources. So, when we talk of these financial resources, it includes the fund acquisition capacity, the internal fund generation capacity. These are the financial resources. If we talk of the organizational resources in tangible resource, it includes the information, the structure, the formal planning, organizing, control and coordination. These are the organizational resources of the organization or the business. So, when we talk of these organizational resources, it includes the information, structure, formal planning, organizing, control and coordination. So, these are the organizational resources which are tangible. These are the tangible resources, and they are very important and crucial for the business or organizations, and they are the part of internal business environment. Apart from the financial resources and organizational resources, the tangible resource of an business includes the physical resources, that is the layout of machine and equipment and access to raw material like that. So, they are the physical resources. So, these all are the tangible resource. So, what are the intangible resource? If we will talk of, they cannot be seen or touched, as we have said. And the intangible resources could be the human resource, the innovation resources and reputational resources. In human resources, we can have the knowledge, the skill, the capability and the leadership of the human resource that are there in the business. In innovation resource, we can have the tactics and innovation capacity of the business, and in reputational resources, we might have the customer relationship, brand loyalty, quality and reliability. So, this could be the important and significant resources of the business, but they cannot be touched, seen and felt. So, they are the intangible resources and they are contributing a major part in the business. So, they are the part of the internal business environment when we are talking of the organizational resources. Apart from organizational resource, what is the major element of the internal environment of business is the organizational structure. So, organizational structure specifies the jobs and the relationship. It defines the job allocation, responsibility and accountability. Clear and swift organizational structure is very important for the implementation of a particular strategy. So, if we are not having a clear strategy or a clear organizational structure, then the implementation of the strategies or to carry out the plans that are formulated in the organization will be too difficult. So, this organizational structure is a very important element of the business, and as it is within the reach of the business or within the control of the business, this is included in the internal business environment. Apart from that, what is the other element of the internal business environment is the organizational structure. So, in the organizational structure, we have the shared value, norms, behavior and belief of an organization. All these is collectively known as the organizational culture. So, it refers to the complex set of ideologies, symbols and core values that are prevalent throughout the firm. It influences how the firm conducts business. Culture is the social energy that drives the organization. So, the culture, the values or the norms or behaviors that we are saying are very important part of the organization and contributing a lot for the development of the organization. And this organizational culture, that means the shared values, norms, behaviors and beliefs are contributing a lot for the development of the business. So, in today's class, we learned that what a business environment is and basically how we are categorizing or we are having the different types of business environment. In that we learned that business environment is basically been categorized into two broad categories, that are the internal environment and the external environment, on the basis of the controllability or access to the factors that are there in these types of business environment. When the factors or the forces are within the control of the business or they are closely held by the business, they are included in the internal environment, and when these factors are out of reach of the business or the business didn't have any control over that, these factors are considered to be the external environment. We had vividly discussed on the internal elements or internal components of the business environment. In that we learned that the elements that are included in the internal environment are the organizational goals and policies. In that we know that when we have a business or we have an organization, we are definitely heading towards a goal and we formulate many policies for the completion of the task or achieving the goal that we have set. These goals and policies are the very important and significant part, or the policies and the goal are the one for which all the activities of the business are done for. And these policies and the goals are within the internal environment of the business, as they are within the reach of the business or they can be controlled by the business. Apart from the organizational goals and policies, there is organizational resources that are within the reach of the business or they are controlled by the business. In organizational resource, we could have n types of resources that might be tangible resources or intangible resources. In tangible resources, we have various resources that are there which can be touched or felt, and in intangible resources we have various resources which we could not see, touch or feel, but they are having very significant effect on our business. Apart from that, we talked of the organizational structure in which we are going to operate the business, and this organizational structure is very important and significant, and the structure of the organization is within the control of the business, and according to our requirement or according to the necessity, we are changing or forming the structure. That is what an important element of the internal business environment. Apart from this structure, another important component of the internal business environment is the organizational culture. So, in this organizational culture, we are having the values, the norms, the behavior or the code of conduct of the business, and they are very crucial and sensitive, and they make a major contribution to the internal environment of the business. So, we had talked of the internal environment of the business very vividly. In our upcoming classes, we will be discussing the other types of business environment that that are there. So, for today this is all. Thank you.